I'm going to do something slightly different today that I'll never do on my blogs. We're going to make a little film today. 48 hours in the life of a wannabe rock star. One of the biggest positive things about blogging and the internet, in my eyes, is the fact that this is footage that can be stained for the future. So when you look back on this sort of stuff in 10 or 15 or 20 or 30 years time or whatever, you know, from the retirement home backwards, you can actually see what you've done with your life. If you frame your life through those eyes, you've really got a responsibility to yourself to make sure that your life is actually something that you would enjoy to watch, which is a big concept really. So I work in a children's home, and the kids that I work with have come from interesting backgrounds. Now, none of the kids and none of the information that happens at work is going to make it into this video. I'll turn around and say that. It's true to be said, I am one of the individuals that needs a reason to go outside, because it's a scary place out there, man. It's like all grey, and there's... I don't really particularly like it, you know what I mean? But I like the people in it, and I think they should have an easier time. Like a lot easier. It takes a lot to get out of bed in some people's world, you know what I mean? Let me read this bit of this book. Murphy's Laws of Songwriting, the book, Ralph Murphy. He's trying to paint a background of the types of people that songwriters are and what history they need to kind of draw from to go and be successful songwriters and artists. So it says here, orphans and products of monumentally dysfunctional families, some which have been scarred by murders or suicide, appear to be particularly good candidates for the Songwriter of the Year. Then factor in physical or sexual or emotional abuse and we begin to get a picture of many of the songwriters. So if you have an acute inability to communicate on a personal level, are bad at relationships, yet have overpoweringly desperate desires to be loved, you might be on your way to the Hall of Fame. And I kind of see that in the kids that I work with. They're not like normal kids. They're not, I'm a kid and I'm going to go and be a kid and I'm going to go and get a college and then I'm going to go and get a university and then they're going to become an accountant and, you know, that. They're not, I think some of them might grow up to be that, some of them might want that, but they're a lot more than that. I suppose the best way to kind of describe it is that the kids that I work with are like 18, 19, 20-year-old kids, but they're like 14, 15, 16-year-old, but sin a lot more. If they could be inspired and kind of propped up while they overcome what they're going through, and then give them something that they can really grab hold of and make their own. And I don't mean like reading books and teaching them how to go and be this, that and the other. I mean finding something that they can actually connect with and that's their thing. They will go like all the way to the top, man. Because those kids will never see the work that a professional athlete has to put in to go and be a professional athlete as work. They'll just see it as nothing in comparison to what they've been through. I was expecting a quiet night. I don't think that's going to happen. Right, so I'm going to go and pick up one of the kids that have decided to go for a wander. That's probably the best way of saying it. I think the key is not to really give them a bollocking. I think the key is to kind of sort of say, look, I understand that you're going through these frustrations and empathise with these individuals. Because at the end of the day, they are just kids. Not every Not every kid that's in care wants to be saved. That's worth saying, number one. And number two, as a caregiver, if you can't get through to that kid, then the best thing to do is kind of give them some structure, so when they do open up to themselves in future and kind of try and put to bed their ghosts, or at least address them a little bit better, they've got some, you know, good structure and foundations to kind of work on and improve upon. So I'm now looking around for my dude. Is that him there? Oi oi! What are you saying, G? No. Right, I'll have to turn my camera off. I'll talk to you later on. You can't see, but there's a fence there, and on the other side of the fence is a graveyard. And at night, you get a lot of things like this happening. Ghost Morse code. So that's an actual Morse code from an actual ghost from the graveyard that's just there. It's like, wow. Imagine if you were 13 years old and you've helped 2 people get off heroin already. 13 years old. Or you've come downstairs at 12 years old and seen your parent in a bad way, and you've had to call the police. Or you've been down a situation where adults are taking advantage of you. If you can put those problems to bed early in that life, then when life does throw you a curveball, it's going to be nothing in comparison to what you've already been through as a human being. Because these kids can think their way around problems like normal human beings can't. And these kids have got a requirement for love and admiration like no other kid has. And these kids are so advanced. They're seeing through the eyes of like 18, 19-year-old kids when they're 13, 14 years old. There's nothing on this planet that will scare these children. Nothing. They ain't stopping. They are motions to themselves. If you can get them onto a competition line or give them something to really, really change the world, a puzzle like that, extraordinary. Oof, I'm feeling it now, I'll be honest with you. I can't believe that we saw a ghost last night. Did you see that light flickering on and off like it was trying to Morse code us? Crazy that, isn't it? Actual evidence that ghosts are trying to connect with me. I presume that's what's happening. I thought it was a loose connection. All in all, it was a good night. There was a guy that turned around to me and said, if your kids run away 5 times in 1 month and then the following month they run away 4 times, that's improvement, and it genuinely is. I contacted a church as well last night called The Message, which is in Cheadle, with a concept of trying to get the kids on stage. If I can get those kids on stage and give them some sort of connection with music or acting or anything else that's not the same day to day, it might inspire them not to react in such a way. And if we can funnel those frustrations into something else, then yikes. Game changing. Hey mate, you alright? Right, yourself? Oh, shattered. See you in a few hours, and then we'll pick this up. As a parent, one of the interests that I've always got is making sure that my child turns out to be the best child that she could possibly be. And I know that there's going to be lots of things that come her way that's going to test who she is as an individual, but I know that if I give her the right set of rules, that she'll be able to move forward as an awesome person. There are people out there that really genuinely can be the next Einstein if they were given the right path and circumstances to live out. Einstein applied for university, he was knocked back, he applied again, got in, tried for a teacher's position, got knocked back, ended up working in a painting office where he saw thousands of ideas come across his desk, all while he was completely obsessed with the concept of space-time and general relativity. And I'm by no means smart enough to understand the intricate details of that genius mind. But I can see the track history that he's taken to get to that point. It's not back, not back, not back, not back, not back, not back. If somebody wants something good enough, they will genuinely go and get what they want and overcome the obstacles that are in their way. Night 2, same kids ran away. So I'm hoping to get a call from a police officer or him or somebody in the next couple of hours, because it's about 2 o'clock in the morning now. It's just saying, come and pick me up, or yo, I'm this, or yo, I'm that, or whatever. What annoyed me is last night I had a proper one-to-one and proper heart-to-heart with him, and he was like, not doing it again. And the YP was like, yo, I'm not going to get involved in running away and stuff like that. Again, I'm going to face my confidence, face my fears. I am a lion. And then, like, the first opportunity he got today, straight over the fence. I've got heart, bro. I've got heart and soul, and I'm a nice guy, and I'll help out anybody as I possibly can until the end of the world. But there's just some people that are just not in the place to be helped, I guess. And I'm guessing it's just because of what's going on. I don't want to face my fears, and just like every human being on this planet, they want to go and get some escape, which I'm fully behind and I get completely. But I keep coming back to the same sentence, which is, maybe they're doing this simply down to the fact that nobody showed them how to do it any differently. They've walked out of a world, for whatever reason, it's not functioning anymore, parental wise, into a world where it's almost like a prison. And I'm not being crap to the staff that work at this particular place, because I'm not. These are the best people that you'll ever meet in your life, and what they do as a job is, I don't know, man. Maybe I'm just losing hope a little bit, you know. Unfortunately, I don't really have that luxury though. So, we're going to plough forward based on a couple of suggestions. And these suggestions are small suggestions, man, like quite small ones. Like, when my mum passed away, we only had about 13 pictures of her. These kids have got very select few pictures through their journey here. And it's not necessarily important about taking the pictures or having the conversations with them or whatever it happens to be. Now, it's how they're going to look back on this time in 10 years' time. So in 10 years' time, when they sit down and they're like 25 years old and they go, holy shit, I really have to open up the box that I call my childhood, and they open it up, it'll be good to have a track record of the progression that they made, images along the way, structural moments that have impacted upon them, all bespoke to every individual kid. As a human being, it's easier to remember the negative points. Going through a life like one of these kids have got, at the end of it they're going to go, oh, I was let down here, I was let down there, and all I did is get shouted at this home, and rah 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 and rah rah rah, and on down that path they go to to places where people really fall through the cracks of life. But imagine if they could go, yeah, and I got yelled at there, but it made me do this, and this is the evidence, this is the certificate that I got, and that's the badge that I got, and I remember this day when I spoke to that person, and I remember this concept that they put onto me, and I did this badge, and I did that, and at the end of it, all of it ties together, not to be important to the 13-year-old mind of a child now, but to be important to the 25-year-old that's actually going to need those skills in life. So check this out. Kapow! Superhero training. This is really cool. History is literally littered with human beings that have had destructive pasts and have gone on to accomplish feats that the average human simply cannot. It's a common trend with monumentally successful people, with many that have had their feathers pulled out, often going on to winning and achieving at phenomenal levels. And did you know this? U2, Nina Simone, 50 Cent, Jim Carrey, and literally like hundreds and hundreds of successful Hollywood actors, actresses, songwriters have had pasts where, and I go on to say effectively that it's a psychological trick. If you have a dark cloud over your head with no escape whatsoever, and one day you are shown a road that aligns with one of your interests, then the hours that you put into that particular interest fly by in comparison to somebody that actually has to work for it. And because of that, the person that's from a minor root note will always be more successful than someone that's from a positive root note, simply down to the fact that that person wants to go and do it because of escapism rather than fueled by money, fame, fortune, or whatever the underlying reason for them wanting to achieve that goal. Tell you what, if my boss goes for this, the kids are gonna hate me. I'm gonna push them so hard. Inspire and change the world! Enjoy your last day on your Domino's, mate, yeah? 2 days. I'm gonna go home. I am looking forward to sleeping, I've got to admit. I am not a man that's full of energy. Freedom! Did you miss me? Did you miss me? Did you miss me? I think you did. You sausage. I missed you. So that is it. The shift is now done. Good news as well. I got a call from the local constabulary who said my missing YP has been found, well and safe. Do us a favour and share this if it's of any interest to you, just because I've got 81 people on my YouTube and I'm finding it very, very difficult to do anything universe dinting with such a little subscriber count. If I had millions and Patreon money, I could be like the modern day YouTube Robin Hood. But rather than a mask, I wear Ray-Bans. Good night, kids. Stay safe.